boys and girls are just like friends of ours. We're going to get to know some of them. Here's the best hopscotch player in the 2nd grade. Her name is Debbie. That's Jeff up on top. He really likes recess a lot. Brenda likes spelling best, but the teeter-totters are fun too. And there's Mike. He has fun no matter what he does. This is Miss Stewart, their teacher, and Officer Dan. He visits the school often, and all the boys and girls like him. Stewart asks us if we remember the safety rules we've been learning about crossing the street. A lot of those rules have signs and signals to help us remember them, like the walk signal that tells us when it's safe to cross, and the lines painted on the street to show us where the crosswalks are. Well, today Officer Dan is going to tell us about 4 special safety rules that don't have any signals. They're so important that Officer Dan has brought along a special visitor who's going to help us remember these rules. And here he is. This little fellow is a friend of Smokey the Bear. Does anyone know who Smokey the Bear is? Sure, everybody does. He helps us to remember the safety rules about fire. Well, this is Roscoe, and he's going to help us remember our 4 special safety rules. The first special rule is
we always go straight home from school.
And we always go the way we've been taught to go. Our mothers know how long it should take us to walk home that way, and they'll worry if we're late. The second rule is
we never get into a car without our parents' permission.
The driver might be a very bad driver.
We never take gifts from anyone without our parents' permission.
Not even a piece of candy. Our parents always know what's best for us.
We never walk or play in lonely places.
We might get lost or hurt, and no one would find us. And so these are Roscoe's 4 special rules. If we remember them, we'll always be safe. And we'll all see what a really good friend Roscoe can be. Later on, school is over for the day, and it's time for everybody to go home. Mike lives nearby, so he usually walks home. Hi, Mike. Come on and play with us.
We always go straight home from school.
Mike will go home and ask his mother if he can come back to play with his friends. Next morning, Jeff is on his way to school. He has to start early because it's a long walk. Want a ride to school? I'm going that way.
We never get into a car without our parents' permission.
It's always polite to say, no thank you. That afternoon, when school is out, Debbie walks home too. Hi there. Have some candy.
We never take gifts from anyone without our parents' permission.
Debbie also knows it's polite to say, no thank you. The park is a great place to play. And on Saturdays, Debbie, Jeff, Mike, and Brenda often play there together. Their favorite game is Follow the Leader, and it's lots of fun. They always play together in a group and never alone. And they know that the playground area is the best and safest place to play in the whole park. But today, Brenda's mother has told her to be home early, and it's time for her to leave. Say, I wonder if there's a shortcut down this way.
We never walk or play in lonely places.
I guess I'd better go the way I'm sure of. And so the next time Officer Dan visits the school, Roscoe comes with him again. He asks if we remembered the 4 special rules that Roscoe taught us. Mike remembered, didn't he? Come on and play with us.
We always go straight home from school.
I have to go home first. And Jeff remembered, too. Want a ride to school?
We never get into a car without our parents' permission.
No, thank you. Debbie did exactly the right thing. Want some candy?
We never take gifts from anyone without our parents' permission.
No, thank you. And Brenda was smart, too. I wonder if there's a shortcut.
We never walk or play in lonely places.
I'd better go the way I know. So let's be sure that all of us always remember Roscoe's rules. Both Officer Dan and Roscoe want to help us to be safe because they're our friends.
This is Karen. She is 8 years old, and she is on her way home from school. Every day she passes this store with a wonderful candy counter, and every once in a while her mother gives her a dime for a treat. And Karen always stops at the store, even if it's only to window shop. Of course, Karen's parents have told her never to take money or candy from a stranger or let him touch her. But right now it looks as though she has forgotten these basic rules. But Karen's friend, the salesgirl, hasn't forgotten and wonders who the stranger is that is buying candy for her and why. Karen, having already forgotten one of her parents' warnings, finds it easy to forget another. Never to go anywhere with a stranger or accept rides with people you don't know, no matter what they tell you. This time, Karen is lucky. Her friend does what you should do in a situation like this. She takes down the license number of the car and the description of the stranger and calls the police. Her information is sent out by police radio to officers all over town. So that they can be on the lookout for the car with Karen and the stranger. At home, Karen's mother is beginning to get worried. She is waiting and waiting. But no Karen. She knows just how long it takes Karen to get home from school, but she is already half an hour late. So because Karen's friend remembered to take down the car's license number, everything turned out all right. And Karen, of course, knew her telephone number so that the policeman could call her mother right away to come and get her. My name is Mrs. Perkins, and I am a policewoman. We had a while to wait for Karen's mother to come and get her, so this was a good chance for me to tell Karen of some of the dangers children her age must be on the lookout for. Most people in the world are good and nice, but unfortunately, there are some strange ones. And these strange ones are sick. Not sick with a cold or measles or anything like that, but sick in the mind. We call them mentally ill. Now, many boys and girls enjoy playing in areas like this. They explore interesting places and make up games to play by themselves. But you never know when there might be a strange one around. Sometimes we become so involved in what we are doing that we can't see the danger. And even if this little boy had seen the man, how could he know that he was a strange one? There's no way to tell. The strange ones look just like everyone else. It is wise to avoid playing in deserted areas like this, especially when you are alone. I explained to Karen that you should not play in any area where there are no other people around, and you must also be on your guard even when you are downtown. Like this little girl who was running an errand for her mother. When the stranger stops her and asks directions, she politely and courteously gives him the information. But when he asks her to go with him, of course she says no, politely excuses herself and goes on her way. Never go with strangers when they ask for directions. And if there is any trouble, just call out for help. And if you see any of your friends about to make a mistake, you can help. It's always a good idea when you go to the park or the movies or even to the store to take along a friend. And when you are at the park, play in the areas that are set aside as playgrounds. Do not hang around the restrooms. And if you see any of your playmates about to get into trouble, get help from a police officer or someone you know. Just as these children did, they ran and found the little girl's mother. You not only have to look out for yourself, but for the little children who don't know any better and can't understand that some people are sick in the mind. There are so many ways you can get into trouble with the strange ones. And one of the quickest is by hitchhiking. It is a wise young man who knows not to hitch rides with strangers. There are so many things that could happen other than you're getting a quick ride home. The man may be drunk and get into an accident, or he may be just a bad driver, or a strange one with no intention of taking you home. If you ever see any of your friends hitchhiking, and cannot stop them, get the license number of the car. And remember not to take shortcuts, especially through alleys or empty side streets. You never know when a strange one might approach you, and it may never happen, but it is far better to be on the safe side. Be on your guard and know what to look out for. Like this little girl in the movie theater. She remembers what her parents told her. Never let a stranger touch you or put his hands on you. She told the usher in the theater, and this man won't bother anyone again. I think Karen can see now how foolish she was. And if it hadn't been for a friend, remembering the right thing to do, how much trouble she might have been in. Karen will remember never to accept gifts or rides from strangers, and now she knows to stay clear of deserted places. Well, Karen's adventure has made her a wiser little girl, and I hope you have become wiser too.
We all meet new people every day. people who are strangers. Often we meet them when we're with our parents or our teachers or with other adults. But now and then we meet them when we're alone. Most of these strangers are nice people, but some of them aren't. Therefore, we have safety rules about how to act with strangers when we're alone. This is Terry. She's on her way home from school. Every day, Terry stops at this store, even if it's only to window shop. Her parents have often warned her never to take money or candy from strangers. She knows that it's polite to say, no, thank you. Terry's friend, the salesgirl, sees the stranger talking to her and wonders who he is. When the man offers to drive Terry home in his car, she remembers what her parents and teachers have always told her. Never take rides with people you don't know. Always write down the license number of the car of any stranger who asks you to go with him, and try to remember what he looks like. Then, tell your parents or your teacher about it. Sometimes a boy or girl may be tempted to try to get home faster by hitchhiking. But it's not smart to take a ride with a person you don't know. If the man's a bad driver, there might be an accident. Whenever you see any of your friends hitchhiking, remind them of the risks they're taking. If they accept a ride anyway, write down the license number of the car. Always walk straight home from school. Take the same safe route every day, the route your parents know and have told you to take. Never take shortcuts through alleys or through side streets you don't know. Richie's dog got away from him, and he's hunting for him everywhere. He thinks the dog ran into this area, where Richie had never been before. He's worried, and he really wants to go inside and hunt for him. He wants to look inside, but he remembers that his parents have told him never to go into any strange or deserted place alone. Richie goes home and asks his father to help him find his dog. Richie found his dog the right way, with one of his parents along. He remembered that he must never go into strange or unknown places alone. Even though you may know that you should never take anything from strangers or go anywhere with them, younger children might not always know the right thing to do. If you see any of your friends about to make a mistake, you can help. Never take anything from a stranger or go anywhere with him, even if he seems to know you. Not even if he says that your parents sent him to pick you up. If you don't know the person, don't go with him. When you're in the park, always play in the playground area, not in bushes or in culverts, caves, old shacks, or other hiding places. And never play near the restrooms or hang around them. Everyone knows you can have more fun in the playgrounds anyway. stranger asks Sherry directions, she answers the man's questions politely and points the way. But when he asks her to go with him and show him the way, she says no. If strangers ask directions, be polite and answer them. But never go with them, even if they say they need your help. There are times when you'll meet a lot of strangers. That happens at Halloween, for example, if you go out for trick or treat. But never go alone. Go with friends and stay in your own neighborhood. It's safer that way and lots more fun. You might go out selling Girl Scout cookies or collecting papers or cans. Always remember never to go into a stranger's house, even if he invites you in. If you're out calling on people, go with a friend and have a grown-up wait for you at each stop. When you go to the movies, you're among a lot of strangers. It's a good idea to go with some friends if an adult can't go with you. If you have to go alone, always sit among other boys and girls your own age. Let's review what we've learned about meeting strangers when we're alone. Never take anything from a stranger, and never go anywhere with a stranger. If any stranger asks you to go with him, write down the license number of his car and remember his description. Never take a ride with a stranger. When school lets out, go straight home. Always take the same safe route. Don't try unfamiliar shortcuts. Never go into strange or deserted places alone. In the park, play in the playground areas, not in bushes or near restrooms. If a stranger asks directions, be polite. If you know, tell him. But never go anywhere with a stranger. When you're out meeting a lot of strangers, go with friends. Have a grown-up go with you. Never go into a stranger's house, even if you're invited. If you go to the movies without an adult, always sit with your friends or among boys and girls your own age. These safety rules about meeting strangers are just as important as the safety rules of crossing the street, riding a bicycle, using a skateboard, or doing anything where you have to be careful. When you're alone, you have to know how to take care of yourself.